If I'm honest, I can't tell you how many times I've talked myself out of making this video, not seeing it through to the end and just not completing it. So I've decided to just ignore those doubts, insecurities, all of that stuff, and just make a video series of me out on the water, talking about music, my creative thought process, my regrets, my aspirations, and just anything floating around in my head. I guess the concept for this idea started last August. I called my manager up and I told him that I wanted to be in nature and also talk about music and things I love at the same time, and not just only talk about music when I'm in the studio or if I'm sat in front of a laptop. And often if I'm in nature, I've always got my phone turned off. I'm not contactable, like I'm fully switched off. This video series is for anybody who feels the urge to be in nature and have solitude, but also loves music, loves creativity, loves to talk about it, and even if you just like being by the ocean or rivers. So there's no better way of starting this video series than on my 31st birthday. I was down on the south coast in Bournemouth, seeing some family, and the ocean was so calm. It must have been around 8 o'clock in the morning, so I just had to get out there. The water was absolutely freezing, and you will see at the end of this video I go for a swim. I do try and swim all year round in the UK. I love the cold water, I love how it makes me feel mentally. It's the initial cold shock that just makes me forget about everything. It was actually recommended to me by somebody who told me that it was a holistic way of improving mental health symptoms, any sort of self-sabotage or rumination that can be unbearable. So, I'm 31 years old now, and I've never really cared too much about birthdays. I don't really like the fuss, but I like to use the day to be grounded and remind myself how lucky I am to have my health, my family, my friends, to be in a position where I can make music. There's so much that I'm thankful for. So the first thing I did was say a prayer, and even that was difficult to do. I don't pray enough, nowhere near as much as I should do. I just laid on my back on the board and just looked at the sky. I was saying to somebody the other day that if I'm going to pray, I want to be outdoors. I want to be in nature. I don't want to be confined to an indoor space. I like to be outdoors. This was definitely the perfect way to start my day. I felt very calm, very grateful. Since 2020, I've wrote, produced and co-wrote nearly 60 songs, so you can expect to see some of these songs being played in these videos. Perpetual Pleasure, the instrumental from my third EP, Disbelief, which was released earlier this year. I found this song almost impossible to finish. The reason for that is I despise the vocal recording process. I obsess over details that nobody else will pick up on or care about, but it has to be perfect for me, and I think that's the problem. Even after I think I'm happy with the vocal takes, I'll change my mind. I see myself as a musician and not necessarily as a singer. I spent so long being indecisive and not finishing my vocals that I booked a mixing and mastering session a month ahead, just so I had a deadline. And I think that's a really underrated method because I probably could have finished the song a lot earlier if I'd done this. I have a love-hate relationship with this song. I think with some more time, I will care less about it. I can't really tell you what genre this instrumental falls into, but maybe you can let me know in the comments. I knew that this song needed real drums on it, so the initial idea I had was to find a rehearsal room with drums, and just mic the kit with 2 microphones, just get takes of me playing the song from start to finish, not worrying about getting a perfect take. As it happens, I really like the tonality of the drum recording, even if it sounded a little rough around the edges. I was considering going to a studio with an engineer and miking the drum kit properly, but I just ended up sticking with the demo drums. I think it's one of those classic examples where you can't recreate the original expression of the idea, and I think simplicity and limitations can be great when it comes to recording instrumentation. When I think back to 2020, when I first became a solo artist, there is no way that I would have put together a video like this, not caring about the reception or what people think. Even the idea of me sitting in front of a camera would have made me feel quite nervous and uncomfortable. I was able to stay on the board for about an hour and a half. It was very calm and peaceful. I'll put a link to this song in the description below, as I have a playlist on Spotify called Made and Performed by Ray, which showcases my sound and my style of production. My entire catalogue is also on Bandcamp, so I'll also put a link in the description if you want to support me properly. Thank you for watching.